I watched this pretty girl on Facebook Marketplace for a very long time, and I reached out and offered $50, and the seller said sure, but she said it was big. So I asked for dimensions, and when she told me it was 5 feet wide, I knew I was good. That is the limit to fit in our Tucson. So we headed out to Powder Springs, which is a much further distance than I usually travel. And when we got there, she apologized and said, oh my gosh, it's now at a house 10 minutes away. So we got back in the car. But y'all, her father had measured the dresser with a cell phone. I didn't know you could do that. And it was inaccurate. The piece wouldn't fit. The dimensions given were wrong. So we couldn't even get it in our car. And she's offered to deliver it to us at absolutely no charge. I mean, that's pretty cool. As usual, I removed all of the hardware and all of the drawers so that I could properly clean it. Each drawer was numbered as I pulled it out, so I would know exactly where it went back. Now those white things are child protection devices, and when they're facing out like that, you can pull the drawer out. It's when you turn them inside, facing the inside of the dresser, that they work. I ended up keeping them in place so that I wouldn't lose them. Everything was given a good vacuum, and guys, don't forget the underside. It's very embarrassing to put a piece in the buyer's car only to discover spider eggs and dust under there. Ugh. I used a good degreaser to clean everything off, inside and out. So I'm having some thoughts while I clean the piece. I think it's mango wood, and you could tell you have it when you have these black etching lines in it. I know from experience doesn't take a paint wash or a stain very well. This piece, in my opinion, is definitely going to be painted, but the problem and the challenge I'm going to have is that this is peppered with fake wormholes. And as you know, if you're familiar with my channel, I don't like them. And I don't feel they make sense on a painted piece. They just look really bad, in my opinion. So I think the only way to make this look good, in my opinion, once I paint it, is to add some sort of a glaze or something on here to make it look like wood grain, and then maybe those holes will make more sense. I think I know what I'm going to do, but for now I need to finish cleaning. It's huge. It's taking me forever to clean. It's time to start scuff sanding. I'm wearing my bandana with my hair pulled back. We have a dinner date. I'm trying to prevent dust from getting in my hair. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start 150 on the top because there are some little scratches from normal wear and tear. The rest of it, I may end up continuing with 150. If not, I have some 220. But aside from kind of smoothing out some scratches, I'm just creating a micro scratch for the primer and paint to adhere to. I am certainly not sanding down to raw wood. When I was finished sanding, I wiped all the dust off with a damp towel. I had started wrapping up the drawers to get ready to prime and realized once again I had forgotten about the hardware. So since this piece has 10 drawers and I can't find 4-inch handles that I like, I'm going to use knobs. So I'm going to mark where the center of these drawers are so that I'll know where to drill. And then I'll fill in with Bondo the extra 2 holes on the drawer. Off camera, I filled it with Bondo, sanded it, and filled in little divots with some wood filler, just like that one. I had already put 1 round of wood filler in it. Now I'm putting in another. Sometimes you just have to do that once or twice to make sure it's completely filled. The last thing I did was wrap a piece of sandpaper around a block, and I hand sanded until all that was left was just the circle that it filled. You need to make sure you're sanding all of the excess off, because if you see a shadow of filler around that hardware hole, that is texture that will show up through paint. I sprayed the piece with shellac for 2 reasons. One, it would seal in the wood filler because that's a soluble product, and if I were to get something wet on it, I could end up removing some of that wood filler in those hardware holes, but also to seal all those areas where I sanded through the finish. It's been an hour, so I'm going to very lightly scuff sand the piece with a very worn high-grade sand pad, just to knock off anything that may have landed in the shellac while it dried, and also to kind of degloss those areas to make them more uniform with the rest of the piece. For a primer today, I'm going to be using Zinsser Ben Advanced. You've seen me use Zinsser Ben shellac-based primer. Well, this is the synthetic version of it. It's water-based, and it'll go through my sprayer just fine and clean very easily. So I'm going to go ahead and stir it up really well, and then filter it into my Erlex 5500. I love my sprayer. Since I'm spraying it, I need to make sure it's thin enough to go through the sprayer. I always start by testing the spray pattern on a piece of cardboard before I actually start spraying on the furniture itself. I typically like to go from one edge of the piece to the other, but this was so big. I started that way and then ended up sitting in a rolly chair so that I could glide back and forth, back and forth. Now, I'm not going to show you all of this, but I do find it very satisfying to watch white on a dark piece. So here's just a little snippet, and I'll move on from here. Whew, I'm a hot mess. Let me show you what I'm seeing as I was spraying. Of course, those dumb fake wormholes are more pronounced, which I figured they would be. But you can already tell the lighter wood tone popping through from where I sanded down to raw wood. You can also see the grain it left behind. And so I'm going to be getting some bleed through, no doubt. Right here, I'm now noticing that there is an indentation in the wood where the former hardware was. I'm going to need to fill that. So see, these things pop up once you put primer and paint on it. I took the drawers out so that I could use an artist brush to cover the area that was covered by the drawers being in place. And I realized that in some areas I way oversprayed, way too heavy. So I kind of used the paint that was already there to kind of fill in these areas. In other areas, I'm having to dip an artist brush into the can of primer to kind of to paint that. But when these areas dry, I will sand them smooth and you won't see any of these brushstroke marks. It'll be fine. Now, the reason I sprayed the piece with the drawers in is that with the drawers in, you don't get any overspray of paint inside. Now, does it matter if there gets paint in here? No, because you won't see any of that when the drawers are in place. But I think keeping the interior paint free is more professional, which is why I do it this way. And in this particular case, we have 10 drawers, and I just didn't feel like wrapping 10 drawers. So this is what we'll just do for the primer, and when I spray the paint. I filled some of the exposed grain with this white plastic wood. I like this after I prime since it's white against the white primer. And in the meantime, I've started filling some of these as well. It's late at night and I'm very anxious to spray on that first coat of paints. I'm using Sherwin-Williams Emerald Urethane Trim Enamel. The color is, I have a little more than half of a quart, so I'm hoping that's going to be enough to put 2 good coats of paint. It's the following day, and this paint rocks because the coverage was really good. Now, I know not to expect full coverage the first time I'm spraying because you don't want to spray so heavy that it drips. So you want to go kind of lightly, but I imagine that 1 more coat's going to be enough. This, I think I knocked into it last night while it was drying. The top, it's streaky because that's how I sprayed it. So when I do the second coat today, I'm going to go horizontal. That'll fill all in. Yeah, it looks really good. Now that the paint is dry, it's time to start applying a glaze on it and brushing it with various brushes to give it that wood grain look. A lot of people call it the Pottery Barn finish. Now, typically the glaze that I use is this. I love this glaze. It does an amazing job. I can't find it anywhere other than a gallon size off of Amazon, and I don't want to spend that much money for a gallon. So I'm trying something new today. I'm trying this one. Now I've started doing some of the trim here because what I want to do is eventually have that dry enough for me to add all of the drawers in place so that I could glaze the fronts of the drawers and all that with the other parts of the dresser. So what I did was I applied this with a artist brush because it's small enough to get into those areas, and then going over it with this wallpaper brush. This is wet, so I'm trying to avoid it. So when you're doing this technique, you have to think about in what direction did the wood grain go. On these horizontal pieces, the wood grain would go this way. When they would have built this piece, now the wood grain would be going in this direction. So that's what I try to do when I'm creating that wood grain look, is to pay attention to how naturally that wood grain would be. This is what I mean by following the grain when you're applying the glaze. That top piece is horizontal, the rest of it is vertical, and that's what I meant. But let's look at a drawer from beginning to end. I've painted on the glaze with a brush, and I painted it in one direction. And now I'm using a deck brush, the fluffy one, and you do see me on occasion wiping the excess off on that rag. It does accumulate a lot of glaze as you're using it, so just periodically wipe off your brushes as you go. Now, I choose to use this wallpaper brush next. It's a little bit coarser. It gives a different kind of grain scratch, for lack of a better description. And then this is a third one that I use, but you can use all kinds of brushes. People use those straw whisk brooms. I've heard people use toy brooms from Dollar Tree. Just look for a variety of brushes that give you the grain appearance that you're looking for. When I finished putting the glaze on each drawer, I would replace it inside the dresser to make sure that the grain pattern was right. And as you can see in this area, I kind of arced my stroke, and so I'm going to use this brush again to fix that. So I just went over it with that third brush again to straighten out those lines. One thing I'll say about this glaze is it's drying faster than the transformation glaze that I'm accustomed to. But what I'm noticing is it looks like it's getting a little muddy. I don't know if it's getting tacky and drying faster. I'm not sure. It could be my imagination. Can I see how that's there? I'm going to feather that out. Sometimes I use this to spread it out. Yep, there you go. Then I'll go back to this one. Okay. A day or two later, I ended up putting 3 coats of poly on. I would let it dry, sand it down with a high grade sandpaper, wipe off the dust, and then spray again. I did that a total of 3 times in order to give it that buttery smooth finish in the end. And then the last thing I had to do was put in the hardware. This was very affordable hardware, which was good because I needed 10 of them. So let's see what this piece looked like before and after. If you guys haven't done so already, please subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and leave me a comment below as to what you think.